So it's the beginning of a new year, and you know what that means, collection tour update. And this one's a little bit different because the last couple years, all of my stuff has been spread out across different rooms. And I finally have 99% of my figures in one place, which is pretty cool. It's a nice feeling, a lot of work. We still have one more shelf that we need to move, but we're not doing that right now. We're waiting till after they finish replacing windows, and then we'll get everything in here and it'll be really cool. But regardless, I still wanted to show y'all my 2026 collection update so you can see all the awesome toys that I have. Pardon the mirror, but we're gonna open the door and into the toy room, which I literally just finished moving so many shelves over the last 2 days. Down here at the bottom on the floor, because I don't know where else to put these. We've got the Black Series Snow Speeder and Dewback. And then in the corner, we have Emphas Nest Swoop Bike. But my Black Series shelf is chronologically, well, mostly chronologically complete. We've got the Rebels and the Bad Batch up top. So I put stands on all of them, so bounce check, they won't fall. I made sure of that. I do not want any of them to fall. I broke 2 lightsabers doing all this stuff, and that's just horrible. I hate that feeling. Coming down to the prequel shelf, episode 1 there in the back, moving up to like episode 2 and the Clone Wars and Revenge of the Sith. So we really got everybody on these shelves at this point. A little bit of everyone on the prequel shelves. You love to see it. 2 of the best Black Series figures that we needed an update for desperately. Anakin Obi-Wan, front and center, Sidious. Anakin Obi-Wan again, Snips, Rex and Echo. Very happy with finally having them all in chronological order for the most part. Like for instance, we start in the back with A New Hope for Black Series. So we got all the New Hope stuff together to the duel between Ben and Vader in the front. And on the other side of this is Empire. So we got those 2 movies together. Luke versus Vader, Hoth, all that good stuff. We got every little corner of the movies represented by this shelf. And I love to see it. It was a lot of work getting all these in here. I did 2 shelves today, 3 shelves yesterday. So definitely took some time. But the end product speaks for itself. Everything is in one place. Of course, we got Return of the Jedi, Jabba's Palace, all that stuff from the first half of the movie on one side. And then we've got the duel between Luke and Vader for the Emperor. And then Endor on the other side. Endor / the Death Star 2 run. So, Wicket, little Wicket. Definitely glad to have all these shelves in chronological order. It just goes up and up and up and up and up and up back down to Return of the Jedi. Yeah. And what comes next chronologically? Well, Mandalorian, Book of Boba Fett, Ahsoka, all that stuff. So that's what this shelf is. We actually got that speeder bike on here. I managed to fit that on the shelf. Gave them some more breathing room. Troopers are all in the back. And we've got essentially every character you'd want from this era of Star Wars. Gideon, Thrawn, Mando, Luke, Ahsoka, Greef Karga, Queel, all the good stuff, of course. Grogu. Best Mando right here. Sabine. We got Sheriff Cobb Vanth. We got everybody you would want. Multiple Mandos. We got the scene, the Imperial Star Destroyer, with Mando and Grogu saying goodbye. Luke right there, and then immediately after in the Book of Boba Fett, they're back together. Bo-Katan with the Darksaber, which is no more, sadly. Yeah, essentially, boo on you. Essentially everyone you can ask for, as far as the Mando side of Star Wars is concerned. The whole gang is here. And at the bottom, because it's chronologically at the bottom and because it's the worst era of Star Wars, we've got the sequels. Not a whole lot of stuff here, but we've got Force Awakens, Last Jedi, and then Rise of Skywalker on this side, all kind of represented in different ways, mostly with Rey and Kylo. But as much as I don't like the last two sequel movies. I like episode 7, and I do wish that we had more figure representation with like photoreal and like Rise of Skywalker figures and stuff. Like we need Poe, we need Finn, we need Han, we need, well, not Han, we need Leia, we need Jedi, you know, Ghost Jedi Luke, an updated Luke from The Last Jedi, you know, all that kind of stuff. But they won't touch the sequels with a 10-foot pole at this point, so probably because they didn't sell. But it is part of Star Wars. I love all Star Wars, good and bad. Maybe not love it. So yeah, that is the first shelf in this room. It is my Black Series shelf, most of my Black Series stuff, to the top of the shelf, which is cool. I dig it. You dig it? I dig it. Over here, right next to it, we've got the Power Rangers at the top of the shelf. All of the Rangers teams that I've finished or not finished, because Hasbro didn't finish them, not because I wouldn't have. Like, we've got Dino Fury and Wild Force and Turbo back here, but Hasbro didn't finish those teams. But Dino Thunder, Mighty Morphin, Lost Galaxy, In Space, Zeo, Omega, Ninjetti. We got all those teams finished. And of course Zordon's there in the back. Alpha 5. Aye, 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 aye. Tommy in the front, of course. Tommy rep always. Rest in peace, Jason David Frank. So yeah, that's my Power Ranger shelf. I did this today. Well, I don't know when this video, I'm probably gonna upload this video right away. Who am I kidding? And then we have the bad guys. All the big monsters in the back, of course. Some army builders. There's my phone getting texted. Psycho Rangers, Goldar, Zeo Cogs, Mesogog from Dino Thunder, Rita, Zed, Draken, all that good stuff. Yeah, definitely missed the Lightning collection. Now that these are all in this room, I can more easily do my Lightning collection retrospective and do that video I've been planning on talking about, and what went wrong, what went right, everything they should have done and everything they should still be doing. But we'll get there, one step at a time, right? If you're all about the Joes, well, this is the part of the video for you, because we've got my G.I. Joe shelves, and there is some Monster Force, there is some Action Force on here. It's not all G.I. Joe, but they're all military, paramilitary, so they kind of fit together. But yeah, I've got not a whole lot of G.I. Joes. I just get the ones that I like and the ones from the old meme PSAs, the redubs. Those are a lot of fun. Like Blowtorch over here. One of the best shows ever. Pork chop sandwiches. But I would like to get more Joes. I would like to stay up on the Joes, but it's just there's so much to juggle, and you know me, it's primarily Marvel and then third party really cool sword and sorcery stuff. That's what I like. So, you know, I get my Joes, I get my Star Wars too. But I'm trying to get less Hasbro stuff this year, so we'll see how that goes. But yeah, the Joes all together. Did that today. And then you get to the bad guys, Cobra. So more Joes. There's some Action Force, some Monster Force, all that kind of stuff. I have way less Cobra, not way less, but visually you can see that there is less Cobra than there are Joes. That's more jam-packed up there. So, you know, Cobra would definitely like to get more. They're definitely cooler than the Joes for someone like Darklon. I have no clue about him, but he was just cool. He's very metal. So I was like, I need Darklon. I'm gonna get Darklon. So we got Pandora back there with her Glasgow smile. But yeah, fun shelves, just not my bread and butter as far as collecting is concerned. So it's just, oh, I like that one. Oh, that one's funny. You know, that kind of stuff. So the Joes, they get 2 tiers on the shelves, good guys and bad guys. And then down here at the bottom is the TMNT shelf, all my Ninja Turtle stuff. So we've got the Lightning Collection Turtles, we've got the Batman versus TMNT Turtles, we've got the Toon NECA Turtles, we've got the IDW Turtles, we've got the 2012 Turtles, and then we've got the movie Turtles, which 1990 movie, that is my favorite version of Turtles. I love that movie. You know, Casey, Foot, Shredder, Splinter, NECA definitely does a good job with Turtle stuff. And I would like to get the Linwan, was it Many Toys? I don't know what it's called, but those Turtles, and those would probably be the last Turtles I ever get. But regardless, these guys are cool. I don't hate them. It's just Once again, like G.I. Joe's, not my bread and butter, but I do like me some turtles, especially the best turtle, Raphael. We all know he's the best turtle. If you disagree, don't even say anything. Just let it go. This is my video. But yeah, another shelf down. Don't look down on us, Tommy. Coming to this side of the room, we've got my Indiana Jones shelf. Adventure series up top, Raiders of the Lost Ark. All the characters represented there that we got in the line. Balrog's over there in the shadows, doing shadowy French things, you know. And of course, we got Marion and Indy. The Adventure series did not last long enough, in my opinion. We did not get enough characters. Temple of Doom, which my girlfriend and I collaborated on this minecart. I painted it. She modeled a lot of the stuff, like the brake gears and all that stuff, the lamp, and just found a random minecart to add it all to, and she modeled that. I painted it. Collaboration, very nice. We got Indy and Short Round in the minecart. Club Obi-Wan, Indy, and then it goes on to The Last Crusade. So we've got every single figure from the Adventure series. We got the whole line. All the bad guys hanging out in the shadows. But we got the Grail table back there. So that is the first two movies. And then down there is Dial of Destiny with a Crystal Skull, just to represent Crystal Skull, because we didn't get anything. And then we get the real good stuff. We got the SHF Indy, which is a fantastic figure. You can see the likeness to Harrison Ford is very good. Sorry. And then we have the Mezco Indy, also a great figure. Kind of more stylized, not as much so Harrison Ford, but it's still there. The likeness is still there. Of course, you got the cloth goods. He's the biggest of those figures. So that is my Indiana Jones shelf. There's one more thing on it, because there's no more room to put these guys on my Black Series shelf. We have the gaming stuff down here. So we got Force Unleashed, Jedi Survivor, Battlefront 2, and then KOTOR with Revan. And that is really all the rep that you would need down there. So, yeah. That whole shelf, Dragon Ball Z board in the corner. That whole shelf is done. Now we're getting to the good stuff. We got the Mezco, Green Goblin, Spider-Man, Morbius, and I've got the Mask, I've got Ghostface, and I've got Big Chap. And those, other than Indiana Jones, are my only Mezcos. So I only have 2, 4, 6, 7 Mezcos, which it's not enough Mezco in my opinion, but they're expensive. So it is what it is. Then we got a random shelf. There's some Cosmic and Mythic Legions back in there. Can't really see the other one, but she's back there. Conan from Frazetta, Boss Fight Red Sonja, Loose Collector, Vampirella back there. We've got some Moth-X The Boys stuff, Homelander, Billy, Starlight, Moth-X Spider-Man, which I'm giving one away at 4K. CT, Wolverine, kind of a piece of crap. Hiya Toys Judge Dredd, some SH and Moth-X Harley, SHF Ultraman, the only McFarlane I have left, which is Terry McGinnis, Batman Beyond, and then the Moth-X Hush Batman. So, very random shelf. Here is the rest of my NECA stuff. We've got some Back to the Future, some Freddy vs. Jason and Friday the 13th, Terminator, Evil Dead, Alien, some Xenomorphs, some characters, Chucky, Halloween, and then Predator there in the back. So, not a whole lot of NECA left, but I still have some. Just not my scale, you know? 1/12, 6.5 to 6-inch scale. That is my bread and butter. And then down here at the bottom is my gaming shelf. There's a lot of Gears of War on here, mostly NECA, but there's 3 McFarlane in the back corner, 3 Storm collectibles up front, shelf from Portal. We've got some of the Spin Master stuff with Joel and Ellie, Kratos and Atreus, Jada Toys Cyberpunk, Jazzwares Master Chief, Bro Toys Kratos, and then there's another Spin Master Alloy down there, NECA, Nathan Drake, and then I don't know what brand that Shepherd is, but it's a terrible figure. I hate it. Look how tall it is. It is not my favorite. I love this guy though. He's great. I'm so glad I found his axe. It was missing. Y'all know the Legends is my main thing, and that really shows here with how many Marvel figures I have up here. And this is just like my Avengers and Avengers Associates shelf. So, you know, West Coast, Midnight Suns, Fantastic Four, all that kind of stuff. They go ahead and sit on this shelf together. And it's jam-packed full. I don't know how I fit more figures up here when I get them, but I do. I just started building up, putting Thor, Moon Knight, Wasp, Spidey up in the air. So that's one way I do it. But definitely the largest, well, I don't know. You see my Black Series. I don't know which one I have more of. Marvel Legends? I have more Marvel Legends, so I'm just going to go with that. But yeah, that's my Avengers shelf. And then coming down one, Spider-Man, my favorite Marvel character. We've got all kinds of Spideys here. The newest edition was $20.99. But once again, a very jam-packed shelf with lots of characters. I don't know how I fit them all up here, but I do. We've got all the heavy hitters, Sinister Sixes, all that kind of stuff you want. Peter, MJ, J. Jonah, Venom, Anti-Venom, Agent Anti-Venom, Spider-Ham, Miles. We got it all. We got it all over here. Spider-Man shelf is definitely one of my favorites. And coming down again, we have the X-Men shelf, which I just finished polishing off as far as putting figures and characters back up. I just got classic Cyclops, so he's up there now. I don't know, Jean's behind that blast somewhere. Same with Brown Suit Wolverine. Definitely the better version of those characters in my opinion. Gambit, Rogue. Once again, pretty well represented as far as mainstream X-Men goes. Lots of figures I reviewed this year. I did get a lot of X-Men this year, and I guess that's always the case because look at the shelf, but it is nowhere near as many characters as Spider-Man or Avengers or whatever. But I do love X-Men. X-Men is great, especially X-Men 97. But I try to keep them all looking 616 as much as possible, so that's really what I'm going for as far as the look of the shelf. But we still have the old Juggernaut Baff on there. I love the new one. We'll get to that. But this is the best suit for Cyclops, for sure. I don't care what anybody says. And before we get down, we have the Marvel Universe Galactus. I do not have the HasLab. And of course, we've got the updated Silver Surfer right here. Not the greatest figure. Should have been on the Renew Your Vows. And we got Firelord with his flaming Q-tip. Also, kind of a goofy figure, but it's fine. And then at the bottom, of course, we've got the bad guys. Not that they don't deserve attention, but they're not my favorite, so they sit at the bottom. We've got some Dark Avengers, we've got Hydra, we've got AIM, we've got Skrulls, we've got the Cabal. Pretty much any of the villains teams that you know of are kind of on this shelf, or at least represented. We got some Spider-Man villains even, Hulk, Daredevil, all that kind of stuff. So there's even some horror villains like Dracula and Shikla and Lilith and New Enchantress, all that good stuff. So the Legend shelf definitely overfloweth with comic book goodness. Then we have my pride and joy of 2025, my Marvel vs. Capcom shelf. Oh gosh, I love this. I'm always playing with this shelf, adding new figures. In fact, I just added this Cyclops when I got the older one. Well, newer one, but older look. So of course we got Juggernaut, Iceman, Shimagoroth, Hulk, Thanos, Blackheart, all the 2-packs. I have War Machine and Omega Red coming at some point. I am going to get them, and then I'll do a whole review on the whole wave and talk about it. But I really do love the shelf, and I can't wait for Jada just to get started on the alpha stuff, to swap out the Street Fighters and then make a straight up just Street Fighter shelf and have Marvel vs. Capcom and Street Fighter. Probably put all the Street Fighters down there. But I love this shelf. It's my favorite thing this year. Also, I forgot Sabu and Kazar, but no She-Devil, so what's the point of having them? But yeah, this is a great shelf. It looks great. Posed them up well. They're jammed in there, but you can see everyone, and that's what matters. And then down here is what I like to call my 90s goodness shelf. We got some Mario, some Sonic, some of the new updated Street Sharks. We got Earthworm Jim, Biker Mice, Pokemon, of course, Blocky's Pokemon. And then on the floor here, the overflow, we got Street Fighters. The ones that aren't in Marvel vs. Capcom 2. So I'm just crouching in the corner here trying to get the shelf in because my filming diorama is right there. But at least everything is in here. There's gonna be one more shelf that's gonna go right there, or maybe even right there. I may be able to leave the window unblocked. We'll see, but I'm gonna figure it out. But that is this room, and there's one more shelf, and that's the shelf that I'm talking about that needs to come in here. But we're gonna go check that out really quick, and then that is my whole collection update for 2026. This is in the living room, so we've got the natural lighting over here, but we got a couple of random things in the corner, some Supernatural rep, Indiana Jones, Nightwing, Borg Worf, Master Chief, Grogu, and then we've got all my Toy Biz Lord of the Rings stuff, which I dusted recently. I'm sure it's collecting dust again. We got all that stuff up here at the top of this shelf. So, little corner of every bit of toydom here. Also these two, they were tucked in a corner, I'm assuming because my girlfriend knocked them over and didn't want to tell me. Down here we've got my weeb stuff, SH Figure Arts. We've got Ranma 1/2, the best and my favorite anime of all time. Got some figures there. They're expensive. They're doing some reissues / repaints, but the older ones are expensive. We got some Dragon Ball, SH Figure Arts over here. Conan from Case Closed, Kenshin from Rurouni Kenshin, Sailor Moon, Chainsaw Man, Power, and then Yusuke Urameshi, which they are doing Kurama, and they did do Younger Toguro, which I need to pick up. But I love Yu Yu Hakusho. If you haven't seen that, you're missing out. More weeby stuff down here. We've got some older DBZ, larger figures, Dawson Toys, Inuyasha, Yusuke Kenshin, some Rick and Morty stuff. Actually, a couple of Funko Pops, which is surprising for me. Kingdom Hearts, Inuyasha, my NES games, Super Nintendo games, which I did dig out all my consoles, so I'm going to try to get those set up and displayed here pretty soon. But it's a little dusty, I'm sorry. Once I move this, I'll dust it. I dusted all the other shelves, so. Up here is the Endgame shelf. You can see in the back we got Scarlet Witch. Essentially every character that shows up in that scene of the movie I have a version of on my shelf, which is pretty awesome. You know, they're all fighting Thanos. We got some Outriders there with the 2-pack. Pretty much everyone's here, which is great. That is my MCU cap off shelf. Who knows if I'll ever get any more MCU figures? I don't know. I really don't want to, but Doomsday and Secret Wars coming out. Plus we got that Deadpool and Wolverine Wave 2, so I'm sure there's bound to be a few more. Here is my MCU spillover shelf. Not really spillover, it's just an MCU shelf in general with every MCU character that I've gotten that aren't on my Endgame shelf represented here. Other than Spider-Man stuff, and you'll see why in a second. But, you know, we've got Disney Plus, we've got movies, we've got the TV shows, we've got everything that you would want. Everything that you would want from the MCU. So I guess I do have more Legends than Black Series. So I guess it's not really debatable at this point. When you combine the MCU stuff with the comic book stuff, yeah, I've got more Legends. Speaking of more Legends, my Spider-Man trilogy shelf. Got all the villains from all movies. We've got Homecoming, Far From Home, and No Way Home all on one shelf. You love to see it. We've even got some Sony Venomverse there with Carnage. I don't know why they're kissing like that. Why y'all kissing cousins? That's a little bit too close. Whatever. If y'all want to be that way, that's fine. Peter, Matt, Doctor Strange, Lizard, Doc Ock, Electro, Sandman, Green Goblin, 3 Spider-Mans, all that good stuff, all represented on this one shelf. And I love that. I love Spider-Man. He's my favorite. Y'all know this. And the last shelf, it's a little underwhelming. Sorry, it's a little dark. There's no way I could have got my light out here. But this is my Fox Universe shelf. We're about to add like Blade and whoever was in Deadpool and Wolverine that's coming out that I'm going to get. Probably just Blade in X-23, but we got Colossus, Cable, Domino, Deadpool, Negasonic Teenage Warhead. Then we got Deadpool and Wolverine repped there in the middle. Got Logan there in the back with Logan and Professor X. Then we've got regular old X-Men stuff represented in that Legends. And that is it. That is all of it. So this shelf is eventually going to go in the toy room. And maybe I'll even find a place to put all this stuff and just have more room for more toys. So, you know, my manga and stuff is on there too. I need to get rid of my Harry Potter books. Screw that stuff. But yeah, that is the collection tour. So yeah, that's it, y'all. That was my collection tour for this year. Like, subscribe, comment, members, do all that stuff. Let me know what you think, what your favorite shelf was, how your day is going. Just say hey, do all that stuff. Keep your head up, stay brave, be kind to your local LGBTQ community. If you're protesting, be extra super duper safe. I love y'all. I will see you next time, and bye-bye.
Return to
The mythical Walmart end cap.
Ah, Morty, you're still watching this crap, isn't this? To review figures and toys and stuff. Aren't you a little old for toys? Ah, geez, Rick, you know, I don't think you should call her a bitch, and I kind of like her videos, so maybe you should shut the f*** up. Thank you, Morty. Thank you.